Hello there, planner fans. I've had a couple video requests lately, and so this is going to be the first of a couple videos I'm working on today. This is going to show you guys how to make the corner triangle stickers for your planners. You can make these in the size to fit your daily boxes or your monthly boxes, and you can also fit them to the top left corner, the top right corner, the bottom left, and the bottom right corner. It's all very simple, and this will be a pretty quick video here. So first thing you're going to need is a new document. And normally I do not work with my snap to grid selected. I like to be able to drag my shapes and things around wherever I need to and without having them stick to the grid lines here. But in this case we are going to snap to grid. So all you do is you come up to the grid box here, open the grid settings window, snap to grid, and then we're going to come over here and select our draw a polygon tool. Now you can make an equilateral triangle, so you could do 4 down and 4 across, or you can do a triangle that's shorter than it is wide. I'll show you how to do both of those right now. So you're going to click, we're going to come down 1, 2, 3, 4 boxes, and then we're going to come out 1, 2, 3, 4 boxes here. We're going to click again, and then we're going to come right back to where we started. So this is going to give you an equilateral triangle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then if you want to have a triangle that's maybe, let's say, wider than it is tall, so 1, 2, 3, 4 down, click again. We're going to come out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 across, click again, and then back to where we started. That's going to give you a triangle with a little bit different shape. For now, just for simplicity's sake, we're going to work on our equilateral triangle. I think it's equilateral. Hopefully that's the right geometry terminology. Yeah, equilateral. Equal sides, right? Right. So we're going to get rid of that. Then what we're going to do before we move on, I always like to make sure my cut settings are correct so I don't have to think about it later. We do want the outside of this triangle to be cut, so we're going to click on our cut settings here and make sure it is set to cut, which is great. Now, what we want to do is you could leave this blank, or you can put words inside of it, or a symbol, whatever you want. We're going to put, let's make a payday sticker. So we're going to select our text tool, and we're going to click, let's write payday, and we're going to center this text. Now we're done. So if you want to just throw this inside, before we get any further, let's go back to the grid here. I just noticed that my words were moving kind of in a weird fashion. You see how it's really kind of jumpy? That's because we still have our thing set to snap to grid. So we're going to unsnap to grid, and now I can move it around wherever I want. So back to our text here. You can shrink this down small enough just to throw inside your triangle, and that looks fine the way it is. I personally prefer having this at a 45-degree angle so we can have the words be a little bit bigger. So we're going to come over here to our rotate tool, and we're going to rotate our words by 45 degrees and put those inside of our triangle. Okay. So if you want to do a triangle that's going to go in your top left box or top left corner here, this is going to be just fine for you. If you want to have a triangle that's going to be in, let's say, your top right box, let's move our words out. It's very simple. You can do a couple things. You can either rotate here 90 degrees, that'll give you a top right, this will give you a bottom right, and this will give you a bottom left, and this will take you back to our top left. Or if you want to create all 4 at once, you can come to your replicate tool here, select your triangle, and then you're going to use your mirror tools right here. So mirror right would give you a top right, mirror below would going to give you a bottom right, and then mirror left is going to give you the bottom left. So you can then use these as needed, or make them for future use as well. We're going to just focus on the top left right now. And then let's say you want to use a top right box and you want to use your wording, you want to rotate that as well. You can flip it 90 degrees and stick it right inside there, and that's going to give you the same effect as well. So these rotate tools are really useful. You can do 45-degree rotations or all the way around to 90, and you can spin in a circle. So let's go back here. This is what we're going to work on today. delete. All right, so we want our lettering to just be printed. We don't want it to be cut. So let's over to our cut settings, and you can see that right now the default settings tell our Silhouette to cut it. We're going to click no cut, so now it's just going to be printed and it won't be cut. You guys know in my other videos I've talked about how I try to use the alignment tools to center things pretty perfectly. I tried, and when you select these and try to center it, it treats this whole triangle as if it was part of a box, and for some reason it doesn't want to let me center it just inside the triangle. So you're just going to kind of have to eyeball it and do your best. There we go. And then let's glue these two things together. Oh, actually before we do that, let's fill our color in here. We're going to fill this in if you want it to be red, if you want it to be green, if you want it to be purple. You can pick whatever color you want. I'm going to do a green triangle with white lettering here. So we're just going to fill this with a white color. And now we can glue these two guys together so that this whole thing moves as one. Now the reason that we want to glue these together is because I'm going to also show you guys how to adjust for size. So you can measure in your boxes however big you want your triangle to be. If you want, let's say, I think the boxes are 1.5 inches wide, so if you want it to cover halfway across the top, you're going to make your width be 0.75. And because you have lock aspect clicked right here, it's going to keep your triangle in an equilateral shape, and it's going to make this line 0.75 inches as well. So 0.75, 0.75. If you want to start messing with the length again, but keep the width the same way, but measure or mess with the height, you're going to unlock aspect, and you can either just manually drag it. That'll distort your payday words as well. Or you can do the whole thing like that. So if you're going to have an equilateral triangle, I would recommend drawing it equilaterally first and then mess with the height and the width as one. If you don't want it to be an equilateral triangle, I would recommend drawing it like I showed you initially with the longer width and then the shorter height, or vice versa, or whatever you want before we start sticking words inside, because you've treated this as one object, so these words are going to shrink and grow with your triangle, okay? So let's get back to where we were. I think we had a 1 inch width and height. I'm going to lock this. 1 inch and 1 inch. There we go. Now we're back to where we started, okay? So let's replicate this a couple times. Duplicate right, duplicate right. And we select all three of them. Duplicate below, duplicate below. Now we have a couple stickers here. And just like my other videos, we're going to draw a box behind our triangles. And some of you may be wondering why I do this. Check out my other videos for a little bit more details about that. But if you want to guarantee that your shapes are going to be cut out and there's going to be color filled all the way to the edges, you need to draw a box to fill with color behind it. I know that our silhouettes can, if you just fill this triangle with color, the silhouette can cut very, very close to that, but often it's not totally perfect, and I don't know what that was. It's not totally perfect, and it's not totally filled to the edge with color, so we're going to create the second box behind it. We're going to select that box, and we're going to make sure it doesn't cut. No cut, because we don't want the box on the outside to cut. We just want our triangles to cut. And then we're going to head back and fill it with some color. So we'll do green triangles, white lettering, and then before we freak out, we just come down to our layering tool back here and send that box to the back. That'll bring our triangles and our letters forward, and our color block will go to the back. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to comment or ask questions below. I'll try to get back to you as soon as I possibly can. Hopefully this helps. It's pretty simple, and now you guys can make corner stickers for every single one of your corners. All right, bye guys.